Shalom. Shalom Bawakar. Kal Halalim La Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Rakak Kodash. Double honors to the apostles, elders, elder bishops of Great Millstone. And shalom to the prophets of that body, and shalom to the 144,000 and 1/3. May peace and blessings and the spirit of endurance be upon you and your households as we approach the end, Lord willing, sooner rather than later. All right. But we're getting there. We're at the tail end of this captivity. And I've always been a person that was into the so-called conspiracy side, you know. Obviously, a lot of those so-called conspiracy are conspiracy facts. They're actual factual, and it's all confirmed in the scriptures, okay? And, a lot of Esau, Edom, the so-called white man, likes to reveal his truths, okay? But it goes over a lot of people's heads because Esau, Edom likes to give you the truth in a comedic fashion, in an advertisement or a commercial fashion, in movies, right? Okay, something could be mentioned with regards to what they plan to do in the future or what has already happened, and making certain statements alluding to the truth. Example would be who took out JFK, Marilyn Monroe, whether they really landed on the moon or not, which they didn't. Okay, they didn't make it to the moon. And if you know, if you understand what I'm getting at, Esau, Edom, he likes to do these things, okay? But it goes over a lot of people's heads because they assume it's just entertainment, all right? But if you know, and through the spirit and power of Yahweh B'Shem Shai, from starting off with conspiracy videos and knowing that this world isn't right, and I always knew this world wasn't right, there's always a left-hand side energy. And then lo and behold, through watching videos like that, I came across the truth of Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shai. And it all came together, all the jigsaw pieces. And before these things, like our apostles and teachers have been teaching on the streets as far back as is visibly recorded. Like on camera, we can see the fact that it goes back 40 years. Elder Apostle Tahar, I believe, came in 1984 or 1985 into the truth and has been teaching ever since then, okay, along with the rest of the apostles in order, in the timeline, Yahweh B'Shem Shai woke them up, including the bishops, and obviously prior to the Apostle Tahar, his teachers, the seven heads, and Abba Bivens prior to them. Okay, so this is spanning 6-7 decades. And Elder Apostle Tahar and our teachers and even other people that knew about what's going on the left-hand side, with regards to bunkers and Bohemian Grove and what the so-called elites are like, what they plan to do, the New World Order, the Charagma, the CHIP, the pyramid on the dollar bill, the obelisks, all these kinds of things were always talked about. All right. And it made sense to me. And then as I got into the truth, okay, with the blessings of Yahweh B'Shem Yahshai, Elder Apostle Tahar and the prophets expanded on that and filtered all that through the scriptures. And right now, today in 2026, and we're in March, Barak the Yahweh B'Shem Yahshai, time is definitely speeding up for the elect's sake, okay? Paraphrasing the scripture there. And Esau knows he's got a short time, okay? And they don't really care pretty much anymore because they know that the cat's out of the bag or whatever, however the saying goes. So they pretty much don't care. But you still got a good portion of people that don't believe in these so-called conspiracy theories or facts, okay, which are true, all right? At least 99% of them. And we're at the point where these truths are being made bare. Esau's skirt is being lifted, all right? We're finding out about what they are. They're not so clean cut, okay? They're not so like, oh, America, the so-called white man is a good guy. freedom, they give happiness, they give you a way to earn your money so you can live in a nice, clean neighborhood with manicured lawns and live a happy life. Come to America, come to the West, leave the East, leave the so-called Middle East, West Asia alone, and we're here to help. We're the moral authority around the world. When Esau, Edom is the so-called white man has been the most evil upon the planet. Okay, they're basically a wolf in sheep's clothing. All right, and now that sheep's clothing is coming off, and we're knowing that these devils, what they really are. Okay, they hold no damn moral ground. Okay, the most evil, the most worst, and the Epstein files, and is just a tip of the iceberg. They do more gruesome things. Okay, but what I want to touch in this particular video is the underground bunkers. Okay, we know they've got underground bunkers. A lot of the so-called elites are not even seen in the public eye anymore. If you remember 15, 20 years ago, you would see certain Rothschilds, certain Rockefeller members, so-called elites. You would know they would be interviewed, certain family members, their children, their grandchildren, whatever, right? You would see them here and there. Now, some of them have supposedly passed away. Okay, some of them, right? But I believe some of them have probably passed away, but the others probably have faked their death and they've actually moved into their bunkers because their bunkers are bigger than cities. They've got malls, shopping malls, cafes. They've got people already sea-hipped that are living in these bunkers and living a day-to-day life there. They've probably been living there for the last 2 decades, all right, or more. You don't know, right? Probably going back up to from the 50s, But definitely they've got those bunkers. They've got everything there, to live a so-called normal life, what they used to. Okay, you'll be surprised. All this will be made bare if whoever's the elect. Okay, when they get that power, they'll be with Yahweh Shai, pulling these damn devils out of their bunkers, and we'll get to see firsthand, if you're part of that number, what they're actually living like. All right, let's go to a scripture, then I'm going to play a quick video, which is about a minute. Jeremiah 49, verse 10. But I have made Esau bare, I have uncovered his secret places, and he shall not be able to hide himself. His seed is spoiled, and his brethren and his neighbors, and he is not. Okay? All right? The Lord has made Esau bare. All right? We can see what kind of person he really is. All right? He hasn't got the wool over the elect's eyes anymore. All right? He can't, we know what he's like. We always knew through the Spirit, but these things that are coming out right now, he's just been basically stripped naked spiritually, so we can see what this damn devil is really like. And now we can actually say to some people, "I told you so," and because a lot of these elites, they know that things are going to pop off anytime soon. So what they've done, which I think through the Spirit, is they've moved there just to get used to the environment, because they're going to have to be there for a significant amount of time. Because when the elect are taken up, all right, they're going to be in the chariots, because we're in the kingdom then when the chariots return, right? Lord willing, you're in that number to be beamed up. You're going to be in the chariots for a significant amount of time. Okay? I mean, we could be up there years, I don't know, before we come down, right? To pull them out of the bunkers. Okay, so they're going to think that they're safe in their bunkers, all right, because they're behind hundreds of feet of steel or whatever, bulletproof glass. It's not just a couple of rooms with oxygen tanks, and a few computer screens. They've got whole cities, okay, huge 18-wheeler heavy vehicle trucks can come in these places, man, and do complete U-turns without even touching anything or scathing any kind of wall or ceiling. This is how big these damn places are. All right, and a lot of them are living there right now. Okay, and these truths are coming out, man. These truths are coming out. Let me go to Isaiah, Isaiah 2:19. 1 second, let's go to there first before I play the video. It's not long anyway, it's about less than a minute. But it just gives you a little indication. of what these devils are like and what they have. They've got, you know, bunkers in huge mountains. You think it's a mountain, the mountain will probably slide open, and there'll be like a huge hole. It'd be a huge you know, you know, a huge office in there with computers and things like that. Like you see these cartoons and things when you're a child. With these I don't know, like the Transformers or some kind of superheroes coming out of a rock. The rock would slide open, the mountain would slide open halfway, right, and people would fly out or whatever. Or people, or jets would come out of that place, kind of like X-Men, where they show the school for people with power, right? There's I believe the school, the base of the tennis court or the basketball court would open up, and a jet would come out. Yeah, they've got mountains that open up like that. I think it's Cheyenne Mountain, right? It says Cheyenne Mountain. Yeah, places like Cheyenne Mountain, and there's other places like that as well. I just want, they've got a bunch of. It's not just one or two mountains. They've got places everywhere. Definitely in America, definitely Australia, New Zealand, far out places like that. And they've got a few small little bunkers in the UK, but I'm sure they've got more. But UK is a small island, so I don't know too much. But I found a little news segment from 2023 alluding to the fact that they do have nuclear bunkers here in the UK. But this is just a basic bunker for regular people. But they more than likely will have something for the so-called elites that still reside here in the UK, tunnels and places where they can escape when that time does come. But a lot of these places are in more larger geographical locations, right? Yeah. Isaiah 2 and 19. And they shall go into the holes of the rocks and into the caves of the earth for the fear of the Lord Yahweh Bahashim Yashai, and for the glory of his majesty, when he ariseth to shake terribly the earth. All right.
It's Saturday, I believe, and here's the truck I've been driving for the last few days for Wilson Logistics. This trailer just was assigned to us from Kraft over at the Kraft Foods plant, and we're delivering it here to what's called the Springfield Underground. And that is, as you can see behind me, this giant, giant cave that's big enough to house hundreds of these trucks and trailers. There's a train track running through here. Just to give you an idea, back here, there's a regular sized truck. See how tall that is up there? It's just incredible.
One second, let me get the video back again. Just bear with me. Sorry about this, man. Oh, for crying out loud. Boy, it's taking its fine time today, isn't it? Oh my days. Alright, this is just ridiculous. I'm just gonna try and find the video again. Just want to play it one more time. You know what? I'm gonna leave it. It's just pausing too much. All right. Forget about that. Sorry about that. All right. You can go back and forth. I guess you can rewind it and watch the video again. All right. Here's another video I've got here. All right. Okay. Okay. Underground UK city built to survive nuclear attack remains untouched to this day. The series of tunnels and rooms constructed during the Cold War includes railway station and hospital, and was even rumored to have its own pub. Okay. Burlington is a network of underground tunnels built to withstand a nuclear apocalypse. A vast underground bunker with its own railway station and hospital lies deep underground in rural Corsham, Wiltshire. The Cold War era network of tunnels and secret rooms was constructed in the late 1950s amid fears of a nuclear attack. And we're in that time now. Not that the UK is going to be blown off the map, but you may get hit with some nukes, you know, but America is going to be blown off the map. But we'll see in due time. Okay. And modern day Israel too, that'll be blown off the map. Codenamed Burlington, it was intended to home around 4,000 people, including government officials, scientists, and members of the royal family. The Prime Minister at the time, Harold Macmillan, would have taken shelter there, where he'd have to run whatever was left of the country in the event of a nuclear strike, the Mirror reports. The underground city never needed to be used for what it was built for, but was maintained until 1991, when its upkeep became too costly. The existence of the bunker remained top secret, though until 2004, when it was officially declassified. The skirt's been lifted. The truth's coming out on the chariots, the so-called UFOs, IFOs, bunkers, Epstein files, so forth and so on. Okay? We know what these people are really like. Okay? You've got a telephone switchboard room. That's old school, right? From like you see in classic movies from the 40s and 50s, right? Eerie images of the location reveal abandoned tunnels, buggies for traveling around within it, and even a telephone switchboard to communicate with the world above. There are sufficient resources there to sustain life for up to 3 months. Obviously, they've got more and more advanced bunkers now. This is a very minuscule, very basic, but this is just to still letting you know that these things exist, even on its basic form, and right down to the point of very being very high tech. Within places like Cheyenne Mountain and other places, and other locations around the world. The 35-acre base was built into a disused quarry and is complete with a kitchen, canteen, accommodation, laundries, and even a makeshift hospital. And Burlington had an subterranean had an subterranean lake as a main water supply and 12 fuel tanks to run generators for 3 months, keeping the bunker a relatively cozy 20 degrees Celsius. You've got pictures of the late Queen and 1950s icons on the walls or inside the bunker. All right. All right. Where is it? Where is it? Come on.
It's Saturday, I believe, and here's the truck I've been driving for the last few days for Wilson Logistics. This trailer just was assigned to us from Kraft over at the Kraft Foods plant, and we're delivering it here to what's called the Springfield Underground. And that is, as you can see behind me, this giant cave that's big enough to house hundreds of these trucks and trailers. There's a train track running through here. Just to give you an idea, back here, there's a regular sized truck. See how tall that is up there? It's just
Okay. I had to find that video and just play it again. Just bear with me. I'm just going to find some of the articles that I've got as well. See if I can find them again. Okay, and there's tons of news on it. Look, America's 17 secret underground cities and tunnels. All right, 26 hidden underground cities in America you won't believe. U.S. has a $21 million trillion underground network. Okay, of secret underground cities, and this is from May the 5th, 2025. America's hidden underground world, secret cities. All right, underground cities hidden in the U.S. So it's all being made bare. All right. And we've already talked about Cheyenne Mountain. All right. Let's just through curiosity, let's see what they're saying here about this 21 trillion dollar. The U.S. has built a secret underground city costing 21 trillion dollars, where the ultra wealthy can hide out during a near extinction event, a former government official has claimed. Okay, it's not going to be an extinction event. It's just the extinction event in terms of Esau's rulership. All right. Catherine Austin Fitts, who served as the Assistant Secretary of Housing and Urban Development. They say it's extinction because obviously for them, they're not going to ever rule again. They're not going to ever be in power again for them. So it's an extinction of their life. But the world's going to go on, okay? Because we're going to be ruling under the spirit and power of Yahweh Hashem Yahushai. Catherine Austin Fitts, who served as the Assistant Secretary of Housing and Urban Development under President George H.W. Bush, made the shocking allegation on former Fox News host Tucker Carlson's podcast, according to Realtor.com. And Tucker Carlson has visited the camp, all right, and face-to-face opposite Apostle Tahar. A stunning $21 trillion in unauthorized spending occurred in the department between 1998 and 2015, according to a 2017 report released by Michigan State University economist Mark Skidmore. There you go, Cheyenne Mountain Complex. I mentioned this earlier. I made a video on this a while back too. Man, they've got some shit inside that place, man. You know, you can imagine this scene as well. When the nuke's about to go off, any people that are chosen, you can imagine this scene in a movie. People lined up out here, you know, soldiers on each side. They probably got barriers up, letting certain people through with passes and name tags or CHIPs. You know, when the nukes are coming in, and you can hear the alarm go off. All right. Anyway, I'm going to read one more scripture, leave it there. But yeah, so basically, man, we know that these devils are getting ready for something, okay? That's why all this news is coming out in these last days. You got to understand, why is all this coming out in such droves in 2025, in 2026? Okay? Everything's just being lifted. Everything's just being made everything's just being made known. It's like they're opening up the vaults. You know, Putin brings out the dark images of you know, out of the Bible. And then you got like the CHIP being made known. Yeah. So forth and so on. All right. One minute. The CHIP being made known. All right. People actually, you know, talking about it, admitting to it. You got regular people that know about it, that know, you know, and heathens know about it. All right. What the so-called elites actually get up to, eating babies and human flesh and SHIT and urine, you know. So we know what these devils are about. Okay. And along with that, all this information coming out, at the same time, they like to give you the bread and circuses, the free movies, and world from the you know, ninja news, you know, world star hip hop type news as well, to sway people away from what's really going on. So when hell breaks loose, they ain't gonna know what to do, you know. So there's a lot going on, and the truth is being made bare. So read one more scripture from Revelation. Excuse me. Revelation 6:15 to 17. Okay. And the kings of the earth, okay, which is Esau, Edom right now, okay, right, even though they're falling from off their pedestal, and the kings of the earth, and the great men, and the rich men, and the chief captains, and the mighty men, and every bondman, and every free man hid themselves in the dens and in the rocks of the mountains. Because you're going to have a lot of sellout jakes as well that are going to be sea-hipped and, you know, that have been chosen for whatever kind of purpose we're trying to hide, you know, on whatever kind of bunker they've been given by the elites or whatever they're paid for, whatever their designation is, right? Okay. Even got the likes of Rick Ross showing that, yeah, look, you know, look at my bunker. I think he's trying to make a bunker on his property, his mansion or something. And the Kardashians were trying to do it also. but they weren't allowed, or they did it. I'm not too sure. But a lot of people are trying to get something done on their property, so they got the entrance, you know, uh, into the tunnels from where they live when the alarms do go off. And it baffles my mind thinking to myself, okay, you got money, you're millionaires, you sold out. Why do you guys still live in America? Wouldn't you think that, okay, this is where the nukes are going to hit? They're lower level luminaries, right? They know, at least they know that much. Okay, the nukes or they're just thinking that, they're proud, thinking that, oh yeah, we're going to be in the bunkers and the nukes ain't going to affect us, we're good. you know you know but it's the how about Shimashai keep putting the spirit on them to stay there, because the Lord wants to hit them with a warhead. Anyway, and yeah, and the kings of the earth, and the great men, and the rich men, and the chief captains, and the mighty men, and every bondman, and every free man hid themselves in the dens and in the rocks of the mountains. Cheyenne Mountain is an example, and there's many more around the world, and numerous in each location as well. And said to the mountains and rocks, fall on us, and hide us from the face of him that sitteth on the throne, and from the wrath of the Lamb. Okay, they're basically saying, hide us from the Most High, Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shai. Okay, verse 17, for the great day of his wrath is come, and who shall be able to stand? For the great day of his wrath is come, and who shall be able to stand? The Lord's going to be there with the elect, pulling these devils out of the bunkers, man. You like the movie, if you've seen Brightburn, you've seen the Edomite wench that was in the cafeteria, the fat ass, ugly Edomite woman, right? The mother of the daughter, she was in the cafeteria, right? And then to run away from Brandon, is it Brandon Breyer or or Brightburn, the kid with the superpowers? She ran into what do you call it? The fridge freezer, or the freezer, to hide herself, because it's in a she's in a metal container, kind of like a crappy, kind of like a similar to kind of like a bunker situation. And she ran in there to hide. And what was Brandon Breyer? What was Breyer doing? What was the kid with the spiritual power doing? He uses lasers from his eyes to crack that door open, and then he just pounded it and just came right through and got her. And how much more when Yahweh Shai returns? Yahweh Shai is going to be doing that in a way more grand, way more powerful way, and the elect men right behind him, smashing through these bunkers, coming for these damn devils, man. And that time is coming, man. All right, that time is coming. All right. So I just wanted to touch on the bunkers. The Esau's being made bare. We know what we know what they're about. All right, that clean cut image, man. It is not there no more. And we can see that these damn devils were always, for a lot of us, always knew that they were wolves in sheep's clothing, but the rest of the world is finding out also that the so-called white man is just a wolf in sheep's clothing, a damn devil. Okay, even their own women, they actually, are declaring it online. All right, that their people are the problem. But anyway, Lord willing, these last few minutes of this kingdom speed up, and we can get the hell out of here and go home. Anyway, I'm gonna leave it there now. All praises to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Akakodash, Mawathabad, Bapal, Kwam Yashra, Shalom.